What's up, guys? We are back with another Mythic Legions review, taking a look at the second of the two Mythic retailer exclusive figures that went up for pre-order last year that are now coming out. And that would, of course, be the legendary blue HAGNON. This guy has quite a bit of history around why he's blue and how he's come to exist. So I'm really excited to finally get this guy, pair him up with the regular HAGNON, because I'm all about glow-in-the-dark stuff. So this is, basically the same figure, more or less. He just happens to be blue. Now, just like the Legi figure that we got in the retailer wave, he does have slightly different packaging. Like, obviously, this is still standard Mythic stuff, but there is a little bit of a difference here. So you got him in the window, in the big bubble, he's all your standard stuff there, Legion's logo, his faction card, his bio, and then the back of the box, he's got some specific artwork back here. So there's him floating, in sort of an ethereal haze with cross-sell for the two Mythic figures, and then the actual Necronominus faction is stamped on the back, which is pretty cool. Kind of a nod to this being a little bit of a different kind of figure. So yeah, let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our Mythic Legions retailer exclusive blue HAGNON. So this guy, again, a retailer exclusive figure, which means you can find him at places like, SiFi Toys. I'll put a link down below. It's one of my favorite places for Legions. But you're also not going to find him at the Store Horseman website. You're not going to find him at the convention table for, the Horsemen when they're at shows. Only through the retailers. This is also a pretty interesting figure in terms of the history and like how he came to be, because this guy was always in the process of coming back out in various forms. And when they were going to make him again, they were going to make him blue. But he never won the All-Star votes or anything like that. So we're here now, and they shoved him into this wave, which honestly I think is a pretty good way to just get him out into the world and finally, kind of be done with the trajectory of blue HAGNON. He exists now. You can put him with your original green HAGNON. So this is, again, just a repaint. Well, a recolor. It's not paint, I suppose, but it's the same figure. So if you got HAGNON, you kind of know what to expect. If you're familiar with 1.0 skeletons, you pretty much know what to expect as well. But I really loved HAGNON. I love glow-in-the-dark figures. This one's blue, so that's kind of cool. So let's see what he can do. See how he moves around. Again, 1.0 figure. If you've messed with one, you messed with them all. Head can look up. Pretty good. Down a good bit. You got your tilt, rotation, all that good stuff. Arms go out at the shoulders. They swivel. We've got our single jointed swiveling elbow, gauntlet swivel. We've got wrist, swivel, and hinge. Single torso piece, of course, for 1.0 figure, so he goes backwards a good bit. Forward, really good. Tilt side to side. You got your rotation. Legs go out. Got to watch this gummy skirt piece. Legs go out all the way. This is a skeleton, so he doesn't have any kind of thigh swivel. That's the one limitation for these older skeletons. Legs kick forward. They kick backward. You've got your single jointed swiveling knee. Full 90 degrees there, and then you've got your swivel at the top of the ankle, you've got rocker, and then you've got hinge. So he is, again, 1.0 figure, older stuff. If you messed with one, you messed with them all. If you have HAGNON, you know exactly what to expect here, but he still moves pretty well, and I, of course, have a long-standing fondness for anything 1.0 Legions. Now, as far as the overall look and feel, this is kind of a weird figure to talk about, because honestly, this is kind of really hard to film. He's translucent through and through. The first HAGNON is white. This HAGNON is a bluish, there's a slight green tinge to it, I think, but he's blue. So a lot of this stuff is kind of lost when you hit him with a lot of light because it just goes right through him. So it's hard to pick up on some of these details, but effectively, this is really just a 1.0 skeleton Legion builder. Like, there's really nothing different or new or, truly exciting beyond the fact that it's more skeletal parts that also happen to be translucent, which are cool at face value. The big thing for this figure, and for HAGNON in particular, was always the head sculpt, because it was a unique head sculpt. So he does include this one by default, which is kind of more like a zombified head sculpt than anything else. It's not skeletal, but it's very decayed and, like rotting and things like that. You've got these sunken eyes with the white pupils in there. So he has a little bit of paint on him, but it's just those eyes. And then, of course, the bigger aspect is that he glows. This time around, of course, he glows blue. And I think for the most part, the glow works really well. Blue glow does seem to be a little bit harder to achieve in some instances, at least in my experience with toys, than green. Seems like green is always the easy glow. It's always going to glow really well, but other colors seem to be a little bit more difficult. I don't understand the science behind it. I'm not going to try to explain it away. I do think he glows pretty well, though. Hit him with a black light, charge him up, and he's going to shine pretty well. What I think is most important is to really compare this guy to the original HAGNON. So this is the original. This one has one of the alt heads on him, but for the sake of the comparison, there we go. So you can get an idea of exactly how different these two are. Next to each other in the light, very, very different figures. Full on blue tinge to the new HAGNON, and the other one was straight up white. So a very ghostly figure. I've used parts from a HAGNON to make like ice armor on figures in the past, which works really well. And I think there's going to be a lot of potential to utilize this armor and some of those bits and pieces for making stuff like that going forward. So I'm pretty excited to mess around with that eventually. But you can see exactly just how different these two are at face value. And then of course, when they glow, they're going to glow different colors altogether. So you do have a lot of difference between these two figures, despite the fact that they share 100% of the same parts. And really, I'm just excited to get more translucent stuff in the line. I really love using these parts from time to time, so I'm definitely looking forward to doing the same with the Blue Boy here. Now, as far as accessories goes, Blue HAGNON comes with the same stuff that regular HAGNON came with, which isn't a lot of weaponry, but it's all very themed to the idea of him being like this tortured soul, you know, that is now part of the Necronominus faction. So to start with, we do get some pauldrons. These are like just the standard knight style pauldrons, done up again in the translucent, slightly blue, still glows. We've got two alt heads. So we've got the 1.0, one of the older 1.0 skeleton heads. This is the one that has the movable jaw. And then you also get one of the standard knight style helmets as well to go along with it. Of course, all of this stuff is blue, glows in the dark also. And then we get his weaponry. So you get this sword, and I really love this sword. We've seen it a handful of times. It's, you know, it's been prevalent since Advent of Decay. It's definitely a bad guy style sword. So you've got like the bone handle and the curved blade with the hook on the top. I've just been a big fan of this. I really like it. And then he gets this nasty sort of rusted out shield. So you do get kind of a base loadout of weaponry for him, but then he also comes with some stuff that was up until, you know, like the Jacob Marley figure from Figura Obscura was more thematically unique to him. He comes with all these chains, and it's not the stuff that comes with Marley, obviously, but he comes with these manacles that will fit around his wrists, and the clasps are a flexible plastic, so you can just pull them apart and pop them over. You shouldn't really have to take the hands off to get those on. And then you get a ball and chain that will hang around his ankle as well. So this, you know, goes along with the backstory and the bio for who he is and where he comes from and how he's ended up like this, so to speak. He does include a strap. And then, and I have to mention these just because I can't remember the last time I saw these in a package. He includes back adapters too. So if you are missing back adapters, or if you're like me and just want so many of them that you don't know what to do with, you're going to get a couple with this guy as well. So he comes with a decent amount of stuff. It's a little bit different of a loadout from your standard Legions figure because you get this kind of stuff, but it works really well to sell the idea of what he is and again, kind of where he comes from in the lore of Mythic Legions. So yeah, overall, I'm really happy with this figure. Granted, I really like the first HAGNON. I'm a sucker for translucent parts. I'm a sucker for glow-in-the-dark stuff. So this really just, you know, has my number, and I'm very happy with the way he turned out. I like the fact that it is a different color. I like the fact that he glows blue. I like the fact that the base color isn't just another white figure to make it easy to differentiate between the two. He comes with some great parts, especially if you want to mix and match. It's older parts, but this works really, really well in my experience. I love some of the accessories he comes with. I love the ball and chain. That's a big thing for HAGNON and very much part of his character. And I love that very specific HAGNON head as well. And it's just nice to get more glow-in-the-dark, more translucent in this line. I'm never going to complain about more of that. So that's going to do it for this look at the Mythic Legions retailer exclusive Blue HAGNON. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time.